Now, Carolyn, you had a few experiences when you were in college of the paranormal nature, right?
I'm not sure, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I don't know. So.
Well, tell us a little about it.
Well, I used to do Ouija board stuff all the time and kind of scare people with it, because I'm real good at pushing. Me and my roommate had a thing worked out. Well, one day I wrote an article about it just randomly for a writing class and got a couple people interested into my dorm room, and my friend and I sat down and we were going to scare some people. But the board kind of scared us in that it took over, and the first thing it said was, it said Cheerio, and then it said my last name and my friend Lisa's last name, and then it named all the boys in the room by their first name. And it was weird, and the planchette moved in a weird, circular, kind of screwy kind of way, where we thought something was weird, and Lisa and I didn't really know what was going on. And it was the spirit was very interested in one of the guys in the room, and his name was Brian. And I loved Brian. So we would sit and play.
Now, did you love Brian by any chance?
Not at all.
Okay.
Brian was lovable in a very platonic way.
I see, okay.
Yes. But he's a very nice guy, very gentle, very kind. Would sit down on the bed and watch as it happened. And every once in a while it would say, like, Brian, what are you eating? And it would tell us about how it doesn't eat where it is, and it misses that. It used to have a life, but it doesn't anymore. But it didn't want to talk about him. It wanted to talk about Brian. And it gave Brian lots of advice. And for the girls, it would give little advice. And one of the first things that it said was, we finally said, why are the girls, you would say our last name, but the boys you say first name? And it said, silly, Miss. As if you're supposed to know. It's saying, Miss Sullivan, Miss Sterling. It was addressing the women formally, as the men it would address by their name. And I thought that was weird, because I wouldn't have thought that up, and Lisa wouldn't have thought that up. So it thought up its own little things. One time we were sitting around, and the planchette just started moving, and we weren't doing anything. And I said, Lisa, what are you doing? She said, I don't know. It went and spelled out, just looking. The letters would come so fast that we had to have a second person transcribing, and then afterwards we would look and see that we would talk about Brian, talk about things. It always went back to Brian. After this happened over weeks of every once in a while a session with Brian, and then there was a school break, and then we went back for class and we caught Brian and we said, "Are you still getting me?" I'm dabbling.
Yeah, no.
And so we said,
I wanted to make sure I didn't have the lens cap on, quite honestly.
Yeah. So then we said, Dave, Brian, come back and do class. Come back after class and do the Ouija with us. And he said, well, I'm not really feeling good. I'll talk to you later. And he went home, and that's when we found out. He went home and he told his mom that he didn't feel good, sent her out for aspirin. She came home and he had died of an aneurysm. And Lisa and I thought this might be significant. So we got up enough, got over kind of Brian a little bit. We sat down, put our hands on the thing and then the Ouija board and see what would happen. And sure enough, the same handwriting swirled back, and it said, like, Brian is like me, like everything. And it kind of got a little metaphysical, and then it just left and said, goodbye. Like, you don't need me. Brian needed me. I was here for Brian to see it.
And that was it?
That was it. And I never knew. And every once in a while I thought, Lisa, are you pushing? And she's like, Carolyn, are you pushing? But none of us really were able to corroborate with the, none of us could spell that fast.
So, Carolyn, you were telling me a little earlier that you said you didn't know, but you really do know, don't you?
Who knows? Could be in me, maybe. Maybe. Here's the part that I think
okay.
Maybe I know something.
What does the rational part of you tell you?
I guess it seems like something out of the ordinary has happened.
Okay.
Does that mean out of the ordinary as in out? Or does that mean inside? I don't know. More things for read to do. So I don't have the answer. I just know something weird happened.
In your heart of hearts, what is it?
In my heart of hearts, I don't want to believe.
You don't want to believe?
I don't want to believe.
Why don't you want to believe?
Because then that's answering a question mark. And I'd rather have there be a question mark.
No, that's interesting. Most people would prefer to not have a question mark. Why do you want
I think in this realm, that's all you're going to get really is a question mark. And when you decide and say definitively, I know what that was, I think a part of the open-mindedness or a part of your perception might close, or there might be limiting to some degree. Maybe. For some people, maybe not. But for me, I think I want to step back and keep this distant, because I don't want to say, I know what it is, because maybe later on someone's going to come up with proof of ability to see when someone's dying, and maybe it came from Lisa, or maybe it came from inside or outside. You know what I mean? I don't want to subscribe anything to it. I just want to chalk it up to, I don't know, but something weird happened.
You're pretty sure, though, that something supernatural happened, right?
Am I? Supernatural?
You're pretty sure that something supernatural happened.
Something out of the ordinary happened. I'm not going to give you supernatural.
Okay. Does it give you any solace at the end of the day?
what he really saw is knowing that
The
this
fact
happened.
that you've talked to the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I can get it.
Well, thanks for sharing. Appreciate it.